Hi, my name's Lee Matthews and I'm a physiotherapist, and this is Pilates Rehab Relax. And today I'm going to guide you through a gentle Pilates routine in laying. So although it's going to be a gentle routine, it will probably be about 25 minutes, half an hour long. So it might be that you just work at your own pace. We'll be doing a series of exercises in laying, and then we're going to do a few exercises laying on our side, and then to finish off with, we're going to be on 4-point kneeling. So again, you work at your level. It might be that when I do 5 or 10 repetitions of an exercise that you just do a couple of them, and it's perfectly okay just to wait that one out until you do the next exercise if you're not really comfortable with that movement. So let's have a go. So I'm going to be laying on an exercise mat, and I'd say at home, if you're not safe getting on off of the floor, then definitely use your bed instead. I've got a folded towel to use as a pillow. Again, use what comes to hand, but a nice big bath towel or a cushion would be ideal. So we'll bring ourselves into our starting position. So I've got my feet flat on the bed. They're about a couple of inches apart. There's a gap between my knees there, and we've got that nice long spine, so between my tailbone and the crown of my head, I'm nice and lengthened, so no poking chins. Got that nice long neck, and we want some nice wide collarbones, so my shoulders are resting on the mat. So throughout today's routine, there's a couple of things that we want to remain aware of, some of the principles of Pilates. One of them is keeping the pelvis centered. So our pelvis is around here. If you pop your hands over the top of your belly button in a triangular shape, if we go to push the small of our back into the bed, we're kind of taking our pelvic into a tilt in one direction, and then if I rock the other way, so I'm arching away from the mat, that's the opposite direction there, so that's a pelvic tilt. With centering the pelvis, we're looking to be in that nice mid position. So if you slowly rock back and forwards, slowly doing a little bit less each time, and stop in that mid position. The other thing that we're looking to engage throughout our routine today is this deep corset of muscle around the tummy area that we call our core. So there's some muscles between the belly button and the pubic bone, and they wrap around our body like a corset, and they help to give us support when we're doing things throughout the day. So during our routine, if I talk about engaging your core, it's these muscles here. If you pop your hands roughly where your belly button is, and then a couple of inches either side, if you go to cough, what you'll find is that makes those muscles tense up. And we're going to actively look to recruit them during our workout. So what I'm going to do, I draw my tummy button in towards my spine, and I'm going to do that through my exercise. So anything that involves some exertion, when I say let's draw those core muscles in, let's engage the core, it's just that action of just drawing the tummy button in towards the spine there. So we'll take those things on board with our first movement, which is the single leg stretch. So if I demonstrate it first of all, I'm going to gently draw my tummy button in, and on an outward breath, I'm looking to slide my foot out and away from me, and then back in again. And then we'll do the same on the other leg. So here we go. Let me draw that tummy button in, and on an outward breath, if you start with your right leg out and away from you, and then breathing in and back in again. And let's do the same on the other side now. So we'll keep on going with that, and we'll do 5 on each side. So engage those core muscles, outward breath, as you slide that leg out and away from you. There we go, so that was the single leg stretch with just the legs. What we'll now do is, if you want to, you can carry on doing just the legs, but if you're feeling that you could do a little bit more, we're going to use the arms as well. So bring your arms up towards the sky. I'm going to keep my shoulders nice and wide, so my shoulder blades not lifting up, I'm keeping them pushed against the mat, and I'll demonstrate this first of all before you have a go at home. So again, as I go to slide my leg out and away from me, I'm going to accompany that with the opposite arm. So if you use your right leg, it would be the left arm, and then back in again. So again, we engage that core muscle, and should we have a go together now? So here we go. So your right leg and your left arm. And back in again. So remember to engage those tummy muscles on an outward breath, and now we do the same on the opposite leg and arm. So this will be your left arm and your right hand. There we go. So we'll do 5 of these now. You work at your pace, and again, it is a bit of an exercise in coordination, so have a little go. So we go back to your right leg and your left arm. And again on the opposite side. So now we're going to do a movement called hip circling. So let's engage those tummy muscles and draw your right leg up towards the sky. And what I'm going to do now, I want you to imagine you've got a paintbrush on the end of that knee, and remember which direction you do it, but I want you to just draw some small circles. We're going to do 5 small, very controlled circles with that knee, and the other leg should remain perfectly still. And then bring that leg back down again. And now with the same leg, we're going to do exactly the same, but we're going to repeat with the circles in the opposite direction. So again, draw those tummy muscles in, engage that core, bring that knee up. So again, my leg's a bit like it's on a coffee table there. It's nice and horizontal, hopefully. And then let's do those circles in the opposite direction. And back down again. And let's do the same on the opposite leg now. So again, engage the core muscles, bring that leg up. Again, let's do some circles of 5 in one direction. And back down, and then the same again in the opposite direction. And we'll repeat that again on each leg. So again, engage the core, making 5 small circles, first in one direction, and back down, and then again, bring that leg back up and make circles in the opposite direction. And down again. And let's repeat that on the other leg again. So draw those tummy muscles in. And down. And the same again. Engage those core muscles. And then making the circles in the opposite direction. That's good. And down. So the next movement we're going to do is one called the double leg stretch. And although it's called a double leg stretch, it's actually an arm exercise, and that's because it was based on the original movement set out by Joseph Pilates. So if I demonstrate it first of all, the movement we're looking for is with the arms pointing up towards the sky, and again, you work on your own level of ability. If you've got one bad arm, it might be you only do it on one side, or it might be you adapt it and do a smaller movement. But the movement we're looking for is on an outward breath and engaging that core. Bring the arms up over your head, and then like you're drawing around a giant beach ball, round and back to the middle again. So it's that movement of up directly in front of you, and then round and out to the side. So if you had a bad shoulder, you might just do a smaller movement, or it might be that you just even did it on one side and just hold the other arm still. So adapt it to what's right for you. We'll start off by doing 5 of them with just the arms, if that's okay. So again, draw that tummy muscle in, so you've engaged that core, and as we breathe out, and then breathing in, back to the start position. And let's do 5 of those. So again, so that was the double leg stretch with just the arms. What we'll now do is another 5, but we'll actually do them with our legs as well. So again, it's another exercise in coordination. So I demonstrate it first of all. So as I go up and away from me with the arms, I'm also going to do the leg as well on one side. And then as I bring the arms back to the start, the leg comes back in again. And then I repeat the same on the opposite side. So here we go. There you go. So you might feel comfortable just to stick with the arms on its own, and that's absolutely fine. It might even be you rest and wait until the next exercise. But if you're feeling okay, let's have a go at doing the arms and the legs together. So here we go. So engage the core, outward breath, and then the opposite side. There we go. So that was the double leg stretch with both the arms and the legs. So the next exercise we're going to do is one called scissors, and I'll give you a couple of options. So the easier way of doing it would be to engage that core muscle, and through the exercise what you're going to do is look to bring one leg up, and then as that comes back down again, the other leg springs up again. So that would be alternating from that position. If you were looking for a slightly more challenging version of scissors, we engage the muscle and you really squeeze with this one to get to the start position, where we bring the legs up and the other leg, and then from this position we're looking to tap the foot on the floor, first one and then the other. So I don't mind which version you do at home. It might be that you start with your legs flat on the floor, or you might be in this tabletop position if you feel able, but again, work at the level that's right for you. And what I'm now going to do, I engage that core muscle and tap that foot down, and then the same on the other side. So let's do 10 little taps there, shall we? So the next exercise we're going to do will target the upper abdominals, and it's one called hundreds. When we do hundreds, there's going to be 2 options for you. The easier would be to engage the core muscle and lift the arms so the shoulders are slightly off of the mat, and we're going to just do some small oscillations with the hands, a bit like you're splashing your hands into 2 puddles either side of you. And when you've done about 25 of those, we'll bring the arms back down again. The more challenging version would be to engage the core, make sure you keep a gap between your chin and your sternum, so you're not hoiking your neck up in an uncomfortable position. I lift my shoulder blades off of the mat, and I'm going to make those movements keeping this position, so that's really engaging my upper abdominals. And back down again. So again, I'm going to do about 25 of those. So you pick the position that's right for where you're at, and again, engage the core. Up we go. And back down again. And the same again. We've got 2 more of those. And one more time. The next exercise we're going to do is one called the hip twist level 2, and this is one to promote mobility in the low back area, and you might even find that one side's got more available movement than the other, and that's absolutely fine. So let's bring our feet and our knees into the midline so they're touching each other. We bring our hands slightly further apart to give ourselves some space, and what we're going to do, we draw the tummy muscle in, and then on an outward breath, whilst the shoulders stay completely still, I'm going to roll my knees all the way over to one side, so my bottom comes up off of the floor, and then the same to the opposite side. So again, engage those core muscles, and as you breathe out, the shoulders stay still, but your bottom rolls over to the side, so the bottom comes up off of the mat. So there you go. Let's do 5 of those to each side, shall we? So again, if we start off with you rolling over towards your right, let's engage those core muscles, and as you breathe out, over you go. And you might only do a very small movement, it might have only been a quarter of what I've done, and that's absolutely fine. It's about just gently working with what movement's available. And again, to the opposite side, engage those muscles. That was 1, and we'll keep on going. So the last of our exercises in laying is shoulder bridge level 1. The easier alternative to that would be to just do a gentle pelvic tilt. So if you wanted an easy option, then a bit like when we center the pelvis, and again you could even use your hands tucked into the small of your back to give you some prompt here, but what we're looking to try and do is we peel the tailbone off of the mat and push the small of our back into the floor, and then back down again. So when we center the pelvis, is exactly the movement we did at the very start of today's class. So that's the easier option. The full shoulder bridge level 1, you need the hands flat down by your sides. We've gone back to our start position with a gap between the knees and the feet there, and it's the same starting movement. So I engage the core and I peel my tailbone off of the mat, but then I keep on going with that movement like a Mexican wave, one vertebrae at a time up off of the mat, and then slowly, one segment at a time. There we go. So don't strain too hard with this exercise and work with the level that's right for you, but we're going to do 5 of the shoulder bridge now. So here we go. Okay, so that was the shoulder bridge level one. We're now going to roll onto our side. So if you roll onto your side, and you need some support under your neck for this one. There we go. If I scrunch up my towel, and we're going to start off with a movement called an arm opener, like we're painting the sky. So my ankles are together, my shoulders, my ankles and hips are all in a straight line there. And I'll demonstrate this first of all. As we go up to the sky, we're going to try and nice flowing movement and back down again. So we'll do 5 of those now. Here we go. As I go with that movement, I follow with my line of sight. That's great. So we need to do those on the other side now, don't we? So let's flip over to the other end of the mat. So again, let's find that good starting position. And I've got my heels together again, my arms out in front of me, and like I'm opening up the covers of a book, the arm comes up to the sky and then back down again. It's like you're painting a nice line in the air. As we do that movement, we engage those tummy muscles and an outward breath. Okay. So we're going to finish off with a couple of movements on our front in 4-point kneeling. So I'm going to bring myself, so my weight is over my hands and knees. If you find it's a struggle in this position, you'll find it's more comfortable if you bring your weight over your knees slightly. The traditional position is where you've got your weight 50-50 between your hands and your knees. And we're again looking for a nice long spine between the crown of the head and the tailbone, wide shoulders. So if you imagined you were balancing a tray of drinks on your shoulders there. Now the first movement we're going to do is swimming legs. So what I'm going to do with this, I transfer my weight slightly over to one side. Again, if I demonstrate this first of all, and I'm going to keep my core engaged as I bring one leg out and behind me and then back down again, and then the same on the opposite side. So that leg comes out and behind me and my back stays nice and straight and then back down. Now if you found that was too much, the easier version would be to just literally bring a leg behind you and just try and straighten the knee there, and then again the same on the opposite side. So I'll leave it down to you. You can either do the adapted form or the traditional form. So again, let's engage those core muscles, shift your weight slightly over to one side, and on an outward breath, lifting that leg up behind you and back down again. And we'll do 5 on each leg for this one. So now we're going to go on to doing swimming arms, and it's very similar, but obviously instead of the legs we're going to do alternating arms. You can make this easier by having your weight over your knees slightly, and the other thing that we can do to make it easier is instead of doing the full arm lift, you might just slide the arm out in front of you slightly, so you've still got a little bit of support there. But the traditional version of this, again, is keeping that nice straight spine, wide collarbones, and as we engage those tummy muscles And again, the whole time I should be able to balance a tray of drinks across my shoulder blades. So that's the movement we're looking for. Let's do 5 on each side, shall we? So here we go, engage those core muscles. And again. So the last exercise in today's workout is one called threading the needle. Again, there's adaptations with this. So threading the needle is the action of lifting the arm up and then bringing it down and through. I'd say that you can make it easier by not doing the lifting up bit and just threading the needle through the hole there. And the way of making that easier still would be bringing your weight over your knees so you've got less load through the arm as you do the movement there. So again, you pick the version that's right for you, and we'll alternate one side and then the other with this exercise. So here we go, engage those core muscles up to the sky, and then the same on the other side. Well, there you go. How was that? So that was a gentle Pilates class in laying. I did give you some intermediate progressions there if it was something you were looking for more of a challenge with. If you didn't do the whole class, that's absolutely fine. And again, it might be even with the gentle modifications that you just build yourself up slowly, and it might even be that you just do the first few exercises and build towards completing the full class. I have recorded a series of videos called 5 Gentle Pilates exercises, and that would be a far gentler version of something to build towards doing things like this if you struggled at all today. And if you found it was easy, I have recorded some more intermediate and advanced classes as well. But again, don't rush to go into those. Find something that's comfortable for you. I'd much rather you did these things little and often and built yourself up rather than making yourself unnecessarily sore there. So if you enjoyed today's class, don't forget to click the like button. If you've got any feedback, comments, suggestions or encouragement, then leave a comment below. And if you wanted to keep up to date with my latest videos, then click the subscribe button. So thanks for watching, and see you soon.